Welcome to the lesson on solving two-step inequalities and the corrections on our worksheet that we had assigned yesterday. All right, so when you're looking at this, very first thing you need to do, I've got the solving two-step inequalities worksheet. It looks like this. Number one, just going to kind of zoom that in a little bit so we can really see it. Your first step is draw the line below the inequality. Second step, locate the variable. So I'm going to circle the variable. Okay, I've got that. Now I need to get the variable by itself. Well, right now it's got a 5 attached to it, and then it's got this loose 2. Well, I've got a plus 2, so I'm going to subtract 2 because it's easier to eliminate one number, the one that's by itself, than one that's attached. So then I'm going to have 5x, notice I had plus, so I subtracted, is less than or equal to 15. I rewrite the sign. Then I keep going. Right now, again, I want this x by itself. I've got the 5. It is multiplying right now, so I'm going to divide both sides by 5. That cancels, so x is less than or equal to 3. So then I go down here. I find 1, 2, 3. I put my circle. Now, this has a line underneath it, which means equal to. So I'm going to fill in the circle. Make it a little bit bigger so I can really see it. Now it says x is less than 3. Well, what is less than 3? 2 or 4? Well, 2 is. So my arrow is going to go this way. All right, that is number one. Now I'm going to double check it to make sure I'm right here. Okay, I put in the 3 up here. 5 times 3 is 15 plus 2 is equal to 17. Now let's make sure my arrow is going the right direction. I'm going to put in a number that is less than 3. So 5 times 0 plus 2. I'm going to see what I get. 5 times 0 is 0 plus 2 is 2. Is 2 less than 17? Yes, it is. So I put my little smiley face. I have the right answer. Number 2, I draw my line. I find my variable. I subtract my 3 from both sides. 18 is less than or equal to 9x. I'm going to divide both sides by 9 since I'm multiplying. So 2 is less than or equal to x. Now I can leave it that way, but I like to rearrange it where I have the x on the left-hand side because it helps me with my graphing. So x, now this, if I read it from right to left, x is greater than. It was the alligator is eating the x there, it's still going to eat the x here. 2. So then I put my circle at 2. It's got or equal to, so I fill it in. And it says x is greater than 2, so it's going to go to the right. Number 3. I draw my line. Now this one's a little bit more difficult. A couple different ways you can solve this one. What I'm going to do is kind of the easy way I feel, is I'm going to look what's in front of the 9. There's nothing in front of the 9, which means there's an imaginary plus sign. So I'm going to get rid of the 9. So minus 9, minus 9. So I have negative x is greater than 1. Now I cannot have a negative x. So I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 1. When you multiply by a negative, you have to flip the sign. So now I have x is less than negative 1. So I put my circle at negative 1. It's less than, it's not equal to, so I don't fill it in. And it says less than negative 1, so it's going to go to the left. All right, number 4. Draw my line. And I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides because I want to go after the one that's by itself. So I have 21 is less than or equal to 7x. I'm multiplying, so I have to divide both sides by 7. 3 is less than or equal to x. Again, I like to have the x on the left-hand side, so I'm going to rewrite that. X is greater than, notice, it's open towards the x, it's open towards the x. And 3. So I put my circle on above the 3. It's or equal to, so I'm going to fill it in. And x is greater than 3, so it's going to go to the right. Number 5. I draw my line. I find my variable. I want to go after the one that's by itself. I've got a plus minus 5, so I'm going to add 5 to both sides. So 2x is greater than 6. 2x is greater than 6. Divide both sides by 2. X is greater than 3. Okay, so here's my 3. I put the circle. Am I going to fill it in? No, it's not or equal to. It's just greater than. So x is greater than 3, so it's going to go to the right. Now look at number 6. I'm going to draw the line, and I'm going to add 3 to both sides. Why? Because I have my x right here, and I want to go after the one by itself next to the x. I've got a minus 3, so I add 3. So now I have negative 2x is less than or equal to negative 2. If you're not really sure how to do those, use your calculator. Now I'm multiplying, so I'm going to divide both sides by negative 2. By negative 2. Okay, so then I have x. Oh, I divided by negative, so I have to flip the sign. And I get 1. Because negative 2 over negative 2 is equal to 1. So I put my circle above the 1. It's or equal to, so I fill it in. And it says x is greater than, so my arrow goes to the right. Now let's just double check this one. I haven't checked a few of these last ones, but I showed you how to check it on the first one. So, put in 1 for the negative 2. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2 minus 3 is equal to negative 5. Good. Going to the other side. Number 7 was done for you. Number 8. Draw your line. Find your variable. Go after the single one. Minus 1 from both sides. So I have 2 is less than x over 2. Right now I'm dividing by 2, so I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. 4 is less than x. So 4 goes in the middle, 5 goes above it, 3 goes below it. Put your circle. It's not or equal to, so it's going to be open. And I want to rewrite this so the variable is on the left-hand side. X, notice it's open towards the x. I'm going to open it up towards the x. Is greater than 4. Number 9. Draw your line. Find your variable. Find the variable right there. Now, I've got plus 18, so subtract 18 from both sides. Negative 8x is greater than negative 40. Negative 40. Okay, so I'm now multiplying here, so I'm going to divide both sides by negative 8. So x, I divided by negative, so I have to flip the sign, is less than 5. There's 5, 6, and 4. Put your circle. It's going to be open because it's not or equal to, but it says less than, so it's going to the left. Number 10. You're going to draw your line. Find the variable. I have an 8 here. What's in front? There's a plus sign, so I'm going to subtract 8. You do not look what's behind it. You look what is in front of it. Okay, so I have 42 is less than negative 6x. Divide both sides by negative 6. When you divide, you want to flip the sign. I get negative 8 is greater than x. Again, I like it where my variables are on the left-hand side. So x, and I notice that it's open towards the negative 8. So I'm going to have it that way. I put negative 8. Here's where you got to be careful. What's bigger than negative 8? Negative 7. What's smaller? Negative 9. Don't forget about that. Now, it's open. I want a number that is smaller than negative 8. So I'm going to the left. Number 11. Draw your line. Find your variable. I want to go after the one that's by itself, so subtract 6 from both sides. So I have x over 5, that's a negative. Don't forget your negative signs. Is greater than negative 9. Now, right now I am dividing, so I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 5. So x is greater than 45. So 45 goes here, 46 goes above it, and 44 goes below it. It's open. It's not going to be closed because it's just greater than. It's not equal. And it goes to the right. Number 12. We draw the line. Find the variable. Add 30 to both sides. So now I have 60 is greater than or equal to negative 6x. Divide both sides by negative 6. I get negative 10. When you divide by negative, your sign flips. So now I have it that way. I like to have my variable on the left-hand side, so I'm just going to rewrite it. X, and notice it's open towards the X. Notice I'm not flipping signs here. I'm just rewriting the problem the other direction. Like x is greater than negative 10. X is greater than negative 10, or equal to. So negative 10 goes here, negative 11 goes there, and negative 9 goes there. You put this circle, you have to fill it in because it's or equal to. And I want something that's bigger. Negative 9 is bigger. All right. I'm going to go through these last 6 kind of quick here, just for the fact of the time in the video. Very first thing is you want to make sure you, on all of them, draw your line. Then you want to find your variable. My variable is the k. What's next to it? 15. So subtract 15 from both sides. Negative 5k is greater than or equal to negative 15. I'm multiplying, so I have to divide both sides by negative 5. So k, when you divide by negative, you have to flip the sign. And I get 3. So 2, 3, 4. It's going to be filled in because it's or equal to, and k is less than, so it goes to the left. Number 14. I have 3. And there's my variable right there. So now, what's in front of the 3? I don't see anything, so it's a plus 3. So I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. So now I have negative x over 3 is greater than negative 7. Multiplying both sides by negative 3 since I'm dividing by negative 3. That cancels, so x, you got to flip the sign. 21. So 21, 22, and 20. Put the circle. It says x is less than, so it goes to the left. Number 15. You draw the line. You're going to add 14 to both sides. Negative 2x is less than or equal to 100. Divide both sides by negative 2. When you divide, your sign flips. I get negative 50. So negative 50, negative 49. See, I almost made the mistake right there. And negative 51. It says it's bigger, so it's going to the right. Okay, last 6. I'm going to stop right there just so my last ones can be, and I'll post those answers online.